Podcast. I'm your host, Victor Freeze, the frozen one. You choose whatever you want to call me, pick your poison. And this is
Mariano. Yeah, I'm just Mariano.
Just Mariano this week.
Just Mariano this week.
Doesn't want to put too much on it.
That's right.
And I think I understand why. It's because the Raiders got blown out.
Yeah.
So we're a little demoralized this week. I really don't want to talk about football. Like our playoff hopes, it seems it's like it's down the toilet. We got blown out by the Falcons, and it's just hard talking about football. I didn't even want to watch the game today. It was like...
Right. Well, I'm trying to be optimistic. I mean, in years past, this would have been, this late in the season, this would have been the third blowout of the year. But that's not happened. This has been the first one that we've actually got blown out. So let's just take care of business this week.
I was in the chat last week. I was like, all right, good luck, you guys. Like, there goes being hopeful. On to next off season. I'm juiced for off season. I was like, it's done. I'm pulling the plug on the season.
It's so far from done, man. So far from done.
We gotta win out. That's the only way we're doing it.
We don't have to win out.
That's the only way we're doing it.
My logic is we have to win 4 at least. We got to get to 10 to even have a shot.
We're not beating the Colts.
We could beat the Colts, Nick.
Bruh.
We can beat the Colts. Our offense is going to put up points. And we know Phillip Rivers. He's going to throw us at least 2 balls on defense. And with this offense, if the way we're rolling, I know they have a good defense. Anyways, we're getting carried away.
This isn't the Raiders podcast. Sorry, we got sidetracked.
Right. Very sidetracked.
But yeah, we're here to talk about football, not our team. Fantasy football. We got 2 topics for you this week. This is the Stardom Sit 'em segment, or 3 if you want to look at it in Mariano's eyes. We have three
right.
segments, and then we have third quarter analysis. So if you've seen any of the analysis videos, basically just touch on each position group and our thoughts on it. We're gonna go back and forth. It's like a freestyle type thing,
right?
And then we just talk about the position group, and that's it. And these are usually the lengthier episodes, so let's get to it, man. Stop talking about the Raiders.
For real. We got off on a tangent.
All right, kick them off, Mariano. Start them.
First one's Justin Jefferson. So you just got to ride this wave right now. This boy is balling. The past 2 weeks, he's really done substantially well, and you got to keep it rolling.
Yeah, he's at wide receiver number 6 overall since I was checking the standings and everything. So that boy is eating.
He's eating. He's by far the best rookie receiver this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Has production.
He filled in for Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
tremendously. Going on to my first start, I'm gonna have Wayne Gallman. This is because Daniel Jones has been out. It's gonna be out this week. He has a hamstring injury, I believe, right? I think they put an emphasis on the run game. And I think the kid has found his groove as of lately. And he's going up against the bottom 10 run defense, that is the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm saying, start this kid. He should have a pretty decent game.
Okay. This next one's going to be biased, but I got Derek Carr. Jacobs is banged up, and I think he's dealing with a sprained ankle right now. So really, they're playing the Jets.
They should sit Jacobs' ass this week, to be honest, and just start Booker.
That would be a good
Anyway,
idea.
tangents again.
Very, very tangent. But here's the biggest thing is that if Jacobs is banged up, it's the Jets. They're the weakest team in football.
Yeah.
And we're going to slang the rock. Darren Waller, Nelson Aguilar, even Hunter Renfrow as a flex might be a good start this week. But Derek Carr, I'm going to start him.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully he
didn't work last week for me in our league.
Yeah, no.
I only lost by like 8 points. Did you see that?
Who did you play?
Willie.
I needed you to win that game.
Bro, I've been competitive in like every game, practically.
You left DeAndre Swift in too, bro.
I know.
Damn.
I've been to the point where I'm just like...
Come on, bro. You gotta knock some people down and stuff, bro. We need you.
Hey, I'm trying, but when I fucking start Derek Carr and he scores like 3 points, oh my god.
Bro, trust me, I started him in another league too.
Yeah, that was horrible.
But bounce back this week. Bounce back. He'll play like a madman this week.
Yeah.
Going on to my next start, I'm gonna have Kirk Cousins. This man's been on a hot streak lately. If you haven't noticed, in the last 6 games, he's put up 2 points. 2 points. 2 games that are over 30 points. And then the other 4 games, he has 3 games that are over 22 points. So this man is on fire. Cook is banged up right now, so I think they should, like you said, Justin Jefferson's been putting in work, so I think they should sling the rock. That Cook is a little banged up right now, so I'm going with Kirk Cousins this week.
Yeah, that's actually my next one too. So in the past 2 weeks, he's got 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He's balling out, and he's got a favorable matchup this week.
Yeah.
So, we rocking with Kirk Cousins this week. He's been rolling, dude.
You go to your next one then?
Yeah, so I'll go to my last one, which is the
You
Dolphins.
went through all them bitches already?
Oh, no. My bad. I got one more. So the next one I have is Washington's defense. Now, Washington's defense has been sneaky good. I think I said this last week.
Fuck the Washington defense.
I got a nice little, yeah. I tried to tell y'all, motherfucker. Anyways, side tangent. I'm predicting that this will be the Pittsburgh Steelers' first loss. And I'm going to tell you why. So today is Wednesday. They just played a game on Wednesday, right? Their next game is on Monday night, right? Monday. It's only 5 days, short week, and the Washington Redskins defense is a good defense. Ron Rivera's got them playing very well. So, first loss, hot take, bang, mic drop.
Let's see.
That's right.
All right, going on to my next start, I have David Montgomery. He came off of an injury / bye week situation. He played against the Packers last week. He racked up 100 yards on 11 carries. And then he has Detroit this week, who gives up the second most fantasy points to the running back position. So David Montgomery is in another great position, and I think he picks up where he left off. And especially Detroit is going to have trouble moving the rock because Galladay might be out again. So if they struggle and they're up big, look at them to run the rock in this game a lot.
I like it, and they're having a head coach change middle of the season.
That's true too.
So we'll see how that goes. For my last one is the Dolphins defense. Now, I looked it up earlier. Dolphins defense is the 3rd best fantasy defense this year, which speaks volumes, man. That's crazy. And they're playing the Bengals. No Joe, no go. You start the Dolphins defense, which is kind of a given. If you have them on your team, you're starting.
Facts.
Going on to my
next start, I'm gonna have Brandon Cooks. They're going up against Indy. However, there's 2 things that I know is that they have Deshaun Watson, right? Deshaun Watson makes plays, and they're gonna be probably behind in this game going up against Indy, right? So they're gonna have to air the ball out. And 3 things I know is that Will Fuller's out, son. So that's 3 things. That's 3 things that I do like.
That's a strong point.
I feel like Brandon Cooks is going to be the guy, and start him up, and he'll give you a good return this week.
That's right.
So Oh shit!
Yeah, it's on you.
Yeah, I got my last one. It's the Raiders defense going up against the Jets this week. So even though they just got blown out, right? The Raiders defense held their own in that game.
Yeah, it wasn't because of the defense.
Yeah,
for sure. Defense did their job.
They've been holding their own in a lot of these games the past 4 weeks, I would say, right?
Right.
They're going up against a team who's bottom in scoring. So I think it's a decent matchup. If you need a streamer this week, play the Raiders defense. They're holding their own.
I like it. Cool. So we're on to sit-em. The first sit-em that I have is Justin Herbert. Now, I know he's had a ton of hype this season. He looks like the best quarterback that came out this year. But his matchup this week is against the New England Patriots. And we know the hoodie, a.k.a. Bill Belichick, a.k.a. the greatest coach of all time, as much as I hate to say it. He casts spells on these rookie quarterbacks. So I don't know if you guys have seen, but the numbers traditionally when a rookie quarterback plays Bill Belichick, they don't do very well, right? So I'm sitting Justin Herbert this week. If you got your second quarterback, whoever that may be, it's probably a better start.
Cool. All right, start Deshaun Watson. Got you. Going on to my first sit-em, I have Zeke, and I should have listened to Mariano last week. And he's on my sit-em list for this week.
Okay.
He's going up against Baltimore this week. And with 2 of his starting linemen potentially injured, I'm done with Zeke. He's caused me so much heartbreak at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know.
You're with Zeke how I am with Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. It's fantasy playoffs. Luckily, I just traded for Antonio Gibson before the playoffs started.
Ooh,
so
nice.
that's pretty decent. But Zeke, my number 1 overall pick, is this is. I'm gonna talk about more about it later. I'm spilling too much right here. I got him in my running back section later. Anyways, just sit his ass this week.
Yeah, sit him this week. I'm sitting all Broncos players due to quarterback play and COVID. So, no Jerry Jeudy, no Phillip Lindsay, no Melvin Gordon. I don't know the injury status of all those players, but in any case, if there's not someone to know what the fuck they're looking at when they approach the line of scrimmage, if someone's blitzing, if someone's not, where to change protection.
Throwing it up there.
You're just throwing it up. I mean, they had a high school quarterback take snaps this past week, so they'll probably be cleared this week. But again, just play it safe and be prepared, right, to not rely on those players, the Bronco players.
Going on to my next sentiment is Todd Gurley. He's coming off an injury and facing a team who just shut him down the previous week before that. I don't think the Saints have still allowed anybody to score a rushing touchdown in the last 6 weeks on them. So it's not looking good for him. I'm not starting Todd Gurley, especially as a running back that's so touchdown dependent. So
yeah,
it's not looking good for him.
Okay. My next one's Matt Ryan. So Matt Ryan got off against the Raiders last week, but they're playing the Saints this week. And Saints are the big brother of the division. Mm-hmm. So whenever these division games go on, even when the Saints play Tampa, it's like they get up for those games. There's just something about
every division. I feel like it's every division game across the league. It's like
a
different energy is in there.
Absolutely. But when the Saints just take it to another level, I don't even care if Drew Brees isn't even playing.
Yeah.
So, Matt Ryan, I'm sitting this week because I just expect that defense to just tear them up, and I'm hoping because they played everything that could have went right for them in the Raider game went right for them.
Yeah,
something like that. So
horrible. Anyways, don't remind me. Going on to my next set, I'm gonna have the Steelers running back room. Whether it's Connor or Snell this week, they're going up against the Washington Redskins, like you said, who held Zeke. Which is, I don't know if he's a better running back. I don't know what to think of Zeke. We'll talk about him later.
Right.
But they just held him to 2 points. So I think this is going to be a game where they're going to make freaking Big Ben throw the ball, and it's going to be a very pass-happy game. So I'm not fucking with whatever running back is starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. Last week I said don't start Zeke, and I said don't start. So I got one of them right, but one of them was wrong too, because I said don't start big dude from Tennessee, Derrick Henry, King Henry, yeah. And that man had a career day. So again,
he said, "What, Mariano?"
On that one, I mean, I guess right on one of them, and I really went off of just the history of the league. You know what I mean? I was looking at who when they played last time, and it kind of worked out. And really, that's part of fantasy football, is that half of it shakes out, half of it doesn't. Like this past week, I started to roam. I sat AJ Brown because I'm like, you know what? He hasn't been producing for me, so I sat him, and then I plugged DJ Moore in, thinking that DJ Moore was going to run the rock, and I was talking about it last week. So that's just how it goes, man. You win some, you lose some.
Times your gut fucks you over, huh?
Yeah, buddy.
Right.
Yeah, for my next one is short and sweet. It's Kenyon Drake, and mostly because they're playing the Rams this week. I expect if the Cardinals are going to have any traction on offense, it's going to be through Kyler Murray, and it's not going to be on the ground. You know what I mean? It's going to be him running around, making plays, throwing the ball to his receivers down the field. Not something that they're going to get established running the ball, especially with Aaron Donald in the middle. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with Kenyon Drake.
Definitely. Going on to my next set, I'm going to have Matthew Stafford in Detroit. I talked about it earlier. They're going up against Chicago. They still have a pretty good defense, and with potentially no Galladay, You see how hard it was for him last week to move the ball. I just don't think it plays out well for him this week going up against Chicago.
My next one is one of Vic's personal favorites.
Hey, he finally did something this week, though.
He did. So you called it. You said either he puts up this week or you're done with him.
Yeah.
And he put up that week. So he must have seen our podcast and listened to it and liked and subscribed to it. But anyways, he finally had a good game last week, but this is not the week against the Colts.
Yes.
So glory to you. Hats off to you if you started him last week, but sit his ass this week.
Yeah, for sure. It's an ugly matchup.
Yeah.
Did you say his name?
Duke Johnson.
You didn't say his name the whole time.
I didn't, huh? Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson.
Going on to my next sit-em, I have Hunter Henry. He's going up against New England, and we said this before. The New England Patriots give up no points to the tight end position, even with a dynamic quarterback such as Justin Herbert starting. I don't have no faith in Hunter Henry putting up any points this week against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's kind of the Bill Belichick thing, man.
Yeah. All right, man. So we're moving on to the next segment, which is our quarter 3 analysis. If you've been here before, you know what it's all about. If you don't, we're breaking down each position group and our thoughts. We're going to talk about the top players, and that's pretty much how it goes. We're not going to touch too much on defense and kickers because it's not a streaming position, and if you have anybody outside of the top 3 players, it doesn't really matter because
Right.
Yeah. So, starting off with the QB position, it goes Mahomes, number 1, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, my dog, Aaron Rodgers, who I said is going to finish top 3. Hopefully, he proves me right.
Yeah, I think
and then
he is.
Josh Allen is in there at 5. So, last time, it's not much has changed. It's been pretty consistent. Aaron Rodgers bumped Brady out. Aaron was outside looking in of the top 5 now. Brady's at 6. Josh Allen slipped down to 5. Deshaun Watson, however, is making a case to be in the top 5. However, he faces Indy twice in the rest of the season. Yeah. So, and he has no Will Fuller. So we'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah.
In the midseason analysis, I still had some hope that Lamar might sneak in, might make his way up. He was at 14, but there's no hope for him. He's not. I don't think he's making the top 10 this season. He's not putting it together for some reason. He just got smacked.
He can't throw the ball outside of the numbers, man. I mean, if anyone's watched these games, he's over the middle or these short patterns like flat routes and slant routes and seams, but other than that, he can't hit a deep out. He can't hit a deep pass, a deep 9 route. He just can't do it.
Yeah.
Accurately and consistently, I should say. He'll probably hit one here or there. That's why I think that Hollywood Brown hasn't really panned out this year either.
Yeah.
Just because he's a deep threat, man, and you got to be accurate with the deep passes.
Got to trade him to the Raiders.
I think we got enough speed, man. We got to figure out the damn speed we have on our roster. They got to get him involved.
I think Herbert has solidified himself as a top 5 quarterback next season.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind. Just the way he's been playing as a rookie, year 2 just gets better.
Sophomore seasons, there's usually slumps for QBs.
For the good ones.
Put some shit on tape, man.
That's
true. NFL defense get some tape on you.
Either way, I'm gonna take a flyer on him in the later rounds, and hopefully it pans out.
Yeah.
I'm like.
No, he's definitely better than like these old geezers and like Matt Ryan and Wentz and Stafford. I mean, and Jared Goff. But so I started Jared Goff last week, and it was horrendous, dude. Horrendous.
I was thinking about starting him too. I was like, bruh, he played ass against them last time though. So I was like,
I should have known those division games.
Yeah.
Sidetrack.
But yeah, Justin Herbert seems to be, if he continues with the success he had this season, I think he should be top 5 quarterback next season, especially if they get some more weapons around him too in the draft. Kirk Cousins has been on fire as of lately. I talked about it earlier. But he faces 3 good defenses after this week, after he faces Jacksonville. So this will probably be like the last good matchup he has. The last 3 weeks is a tough stretch for him. I don't see him staying on fire. This will be the last week to catch his fire if you're gonna catch him, if you're gonna stream him. And then the position group pretty much stayed the same. Like when I look back on the midseason to this point, there's nothing really new besides Drew Brees getting injured and thrown out of the conversation of anything now, numbers wise, But we'll talk more about Drew Brees when we go into the running back position because his loss is definitely a huge loss on another player. So let's start you have any notes on quarterback position? Anything you want to say, Mariano?
Nope.
What do you want to tell the viewers?
I don't know. Tell them like, subscribe, nigga, hurry up.
All right,
getting impatient.
Going on to the running back position. Number 1 is Dalvin Cook. Number 2, I was gonna say Hunter Henry, Derrick Henry. 3 is Alvin Kamara. 4 is James Robinson, and sneaking in at 5 is Gibson. So Dalvin overtook Kamara simply because Drew Brees is injured. Taysom Hill is stealing all the touchdowns for Kamara. And for the love of God, Drew Brees, please get healthy because I have Kamara and I need him to perform for the fantasy playoffs. So hurry up and get healthy and come back, please. Dalvin is a little bit banged up right now. We talked about this earlier. Kirk has been passing more as of lately. I wouldn't worry about Dalvin Cook though. He's still putting up numbers,
bro.
Yeah, so. Even if he's a little banged up.
I'm biased. I got him. But he's number 1, man. Number 1. And I drafted him at 4 this year.
Yeah, you could.
I think I got him at 4.
I think you drafted him between 4 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in my ESPN, someone took Michael Thomas, like fucking 3rd overall.
That's a rough one. That's a rough one.
Well, I could see the production from last year.
Yeah.
I mean, but
in a PPR league, you have more of a case.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
Henry had himself a monster game over this weekend. Yeah. 3 touchdowns in the first half against Indy of all teams too. So
what I don't like about him is he disappears, dude.
Yeah, it's very boom and bust sometimes.
Exactly.
Robinson is still the biggest steal at running back. And he's been consistent even with his quarterback being out, and Gardner Minshew. Something Zeke can't do. And Zeke is now out of the top 5. He somehow remained putting up enough points to stay there, but now from mid-season to now,
he's bad.
And I hope if you're a Zeke owner like me, you did something and got another running back, because it's going to be rough in the playoffs too, having him on your team. And especially now that they have 2 offensive linemen that are out potentially.
Yeah. That's a tough beat, man.
Yeah. Gibson made his way into the top 5 after a monster game on Thanksgiving. We put up 3 touchdowns. The last one, they just let him walk in. They just let that boy walk in.
He said, fuck this.
I think he's a pretty great value alongside with Robinson, because these guys are both guys that you got way later or even undrafted potentially. So that's cool. Aaron Jones has been quiet since earlier production in the season. He had some monster games.
Big A-Ron.
But he's still getting the workload. It's just, I don't think he's getting into the end zone.
And Aaron Rodgers is just dominating.
Just slinging the ball,
Yeah, he's just dominating.
I wouldn't. There is somewhere, because you do need those touchdowns, but I think there's always upside if the workload is there, if you're getting the touches,
Yeah, he's had 1 touchdown in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, so that's a little bit concerning, the touchdown-wise, but he's still getting the workload, which is something,
Could be said.
It's better than nothing.
He's getting 50% with Williams. Mm-hmm. So, but still, he makes plays, man.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
He's a strong start for sure.
Chubb is back, and if it wasn't for the injury, he'd be a top 3 running back. There's no doubt in my mind.
That dude's a beast.
Yeah, and as I spoke earlier, David Montgomery, he has a nice playoff stretch. He faced the Packers. He's facing Detroit this week. He has Houston. I think he has Jacksonville too, and those are the bottom 4 run defenses in the league, right?
Yeah, but Bears are the Bears, fool.
What do you mean?
Like, they're just... Remember at the beginning of the season we said they were soft 5-1.
Yeah.
5-2. Like, they can just get their ass beat, handed to them, take him out.
That's
he
true.
Ain't even gonna run the ball.
That's true. But I like the potential. He just came off a game where he had 11 carries, 100 yards, right? They feed him 15 carries, get him the goal line touches. I think he does good, especially against these horrible run defenses. And then Austin Eckler is finally back. In his first start, he put up 20 PPR points.
Yeah.
And hopefully you traded for him like I told you to in the trade target video, because he's going to be a great asset going on and moving forward. Any notes you got, Mariano?
Nope.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it? All right. So moving on to the wide receivers, we have Tyreek Hill is in at number 1. Obviously, we know why. Because he had that freaking historic fantasy
game. Yeah.
Going on next is DK Metcalf. And at number 2, we have Devontae Adams in at number 3. We have Will Fuller, who snuck into number 4. And Adam Thielen, who even though he had 0 points last week because he was out for COVID, is in at 5. One thing we do know is that Will Fuller is not going to remain here, obviously, because he's out for the rest of the season. I think DK Metcalf has been one of the most consistent wide receivers, and this man's a monster, and he should be a top pick next season.
100%.
You know, especially when you have Russ throwing you the ball, there's no doubt in my mind, and he's just a freak athlete. We saw you sent me that comparison. I told you about the comparison. I seen something, and then you sent me this like this a similar thing, like the Calvin Johnson thing, and the man's just eating. But it's like he's out of this world.
He's out of this world.
And
I seen it last year.
Definitely.
Let me just throw that in there.
He's just a fucking man amongst boys, bro. He's like Derrick Henry running the ball. This man's Derrick Henry catching the ball.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, bro.
I could not imagine.
So
trying to tackle a big dude like that, that runs that fast,
motherfucker's hella big. I do not want to hit him.
I'd be biting toenails, nigga.
Ridley has fallen from grace with an injury and a couple bad games. I still think he sneaks into the top 5, especially with the Will Fuller departure, because we know that's gonna be evident later on. But 1-9 is a steep fall. He was at number 1, and now he's at number 9. So those bad games and that injury, you see how far it puts you back.
Yep.
And we said Fuller's. Devontae is extremely productive. I think he's probably as consistent as DK is, just because he has Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball, and they've been together for so long.
He's just unguardable, bro.
Yeah,
them two together.
He's the only thing that I've stayed away from him in previous years, simply because he's injury prone. Right. He's out for like 2-3 weeks, 6 weeks, at a time. And for me, the best thing about having a player's availability. You need to be able to count on them. Like you said earlier, Justin Jefferson has been eating, bro. He's clearly the most amazing wide receiver that's put up numbers this year, fantasy wise.
Right.
We have some great wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb, Mapletron. I wish Ruggs would do something.
Yeah.
Outside of those 3, I can't think of any other productive rookie wide receivers.
Judy was solid. Yeah, Judy's been all right. He looks like a good prospect, not in fantasy though.
Yeah, he runs nice routes. He has potential.
Yeah, and it's mostly the quarterback play is just horrible too.
Drew Lock.
Yeah, Drew Lock.
Yeah, I need to get him out of there.
It's not a lock for fantasy.
But yeah, Justin Jefferson has stepped nicely into Stephon Diggs' shoes.
Yep.
Keenan Allen has had a resurgence with, like I said earlier, if
quarterback.
We get a new quarterback, new life in the system. Keenan Allen has the opportunity. I always said he's a top wide receiver. There's no doubt in my mind if Justin Herbert started from the beginning of the season, I think that Keenan Allen would be probably closer to the top 5. I think he's at 7 right now.
Yeah.
Something like that. Mike Evans seems to finally have found some consistency. And it looks like I said AB being on the team is going to be bad for him. But it looks like it's not bad for him at all. What are your thoughts on Mike Evans since you got Mike Evans?
Yeah. Last season he had a lot more big games.
Yeah.
This year there's just so much going on with that team.
Yeah.
That this wasn't the best year. Now next year it's gonna be on and popping with Tampa. Watch, mark my words. This is just like when the Miami Heat assembled the first super team, or one of the first super teams.
Yeah.
It took them a year, even though they went to the finals the first season. But after that, it was on.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that's going to happen. There's just so much talent. They're still trying to figure it out, man. I mean, you throw a bunch of talented dudes in the room that are all used to being that dude, and it's hard to,
We have 3 number 1 wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly. 3 number 1 wide receivers. It's hard to be like the Warriors, how the Warriors were in basketball, to make the basketball reference. But
they talk about they might get rid of Bruce Arians, try to get in
that'd be the worst move.
Old boy from the offensive coordinator from the New England. What's his name?
That'd be that'd be
because he has like the tie with Tom Brady, and he knows how Tom Brady wants his offense run and whatever.
McDaniels. That'd be probably one of the worst things you can do. Is try to install a whole nother. This is not New England.
Yeah.
This is Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Their offense does look stale at times, though. They have no motions. They have no...
Right.
It's like old school football. Just line up and go, bro.
Yeah, that's because it's too many moving parts, man.
Yeah.
How complicated can you make an offense when AB just started, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I was listening because I got Red Zone and it'll flip in between the games and stuff. And I seen a clip where Tom Brady ran almost all the way to the sideline to tell AB what to do, and then came right back. You know what I mean? So those are the little nuances that you gotta deal with when you're joining a team, and there's so much talent on it. So it's kind of where I'm at now.
Hopkins and Diggs have had a fall from grace. Hopkins was originally in the top 5. I think he's past 9. I think he's mid-tier wide receiver. Diggs too, same thing. They've had a couple bad games, and I think what they're both experienced is that they're the biggest threat on their team. So they're getting the most, receiving threat, I should say.
Yeah.
So they're getting the most attention in the secondary. And my last point is that Brandon Cook's stock is up for me right now because of the Will Fuller suspension. Oh, and that's not the last thing. Julio Jones is not worth an early round pick anymore at all. He's not.
We called that early.
Yeah, we did
this year.
But I think this solidifies it for any doubters that we had.
Yep.
He's definitely not worth the early
hype.
round pick. Yeah, exactly. It's just a name.
Yeah, it's just a name at this point.
You get him in 4th somewhere around there, it was decent, I guess. But still, he's injury prone and old and barely puts up touchdowns at times.
Right.
So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the tight end position, we have Travis Kelce in at number 1, and this is fucking surprising to me, but Robert Tonyan is in at number 2.
I'm showing Waller, bro.
Which are you?
Showing Kelce.
You're in that's a RPPR league?
Yeah.
Okay, this is standard.
Oh,
standard,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Darren Waller is in at 2 in PPR.
Yeah.
Have Hawkinson in at 3. That remains consistent.
Yeah.
I have Waller in at 4 and Smith in at 5. Jonnu Smith. What do you have over here?
I got Kelce, Waller, Hawkinson, Tonyan, and then
Andrews.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, pretty consistent though.
Yeah. I don't know how Tonyan at 2 sits with me, or Tonyan even in the top 5 sits with me.
I want to see my top 10 at position first.
Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't have
No
Hawkinson
Tonyan,
anywhere
Hawkinson.
near.
I think I had Hawkinson in my top 10. Let's see. Let me pull it up right here.
Yeah, I had George Kittle, Kelce, Waller, Andrews. So I got like 4 of them right. 3.
I didn't have him either. I had Kittle, Kelsey, Ertz, Andrews, Waller.
Yeah, where's Ertz been, man?
He's injured. He's injured right now.
He's just boo-boo.
Yeah, so basically no one saw Tonyan, and he's been pretty quiet. And the last 2 weeks he had decent games, so he manages somehow to get back into the top 5, which tells you about the state of this position that is very thin. And the production hasn't been crazy this season.
No, tight ends have been down this
Yeah, outside of Kelsey and Waller, and Hawkinson, they've been the most consistent, I think. Yeah. Even though he's a top 5, Jonnu Smith is not consistent at all, bro. And he's
Mark Andrews, same thing.
Very touchdown dependent. Yeah, exactly. And especially the way that the Ravens are playing.
Yeah.
I think Gronk is finally clicking with Brady in Tampa.
Yep.
It's looking like it. They're having a bunch of good games over there. Gronk was on a little hot streak. I called it too. I said after week 4 or 5 when Gronk gets back into shape and everything.
Yep.
They'll be rocking and rolling. Hayden Hurst is going to make a jump next year with Atlanta. He has some decent games this season, but I think next season is when they click it all together. Especially, we know they have previous history in Atlanta of loving to use the tight end position. Ebron has been consistent in PPR. That man's put up the last 5 weeks. He's put up 4 10-point games with Ben Roethlisberger throwing him the ball. And Kittle owners, I hope you kept him on IR because he's talking about coming back in a week or 2 off of that fractured foot. So he comes back. If he does come back, he'll come back against Dallas, and that's like a prime matchup. I don't know.
Well, last time he played with Mullins, he got off too.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean,
And last time he came off an injury that's supposed to be severe too, he still got off. So we know Kittle's capable of doing it. So hopefully, if you had him, you didn't just release him and you kept him on your bench. Go on to the kicker position. We have my Young Ho Koo. In Atlanta. He just put up 21 points against us last week. We have Sanders in Miami, and we have Trent Bass is his name in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. So what it is I think Atlanta's a team that gets in position, right, in the red zone, can't score.
You got him too.
Mm-hmm. Sanders is they have Tua. He's the rookie. They have trouble getting into the end zone too. And Buffalo just gets them in position to score. They know how to get into the end zone, but they get them into position to score. And especially
offense spiders.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got to say about the kickers.
Carlson's 4.
Carlson's 4th.
Oh, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 5.
That's pretty good. Yeah, the last 2.
He's been solid, dude.
Yeah.
He's been solid. Mm-hmm. He's only scored under 10 points 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I have him in 2 of my leagues.
Yeah.
I was hoping he put up more last week. At least
he's been money, dude.
Yeah.
He's been money. Mm-hmm. I mean, from 50 yards, and I know that because I watch all the games.
But yeah. And then defense, we have Pittsburgh, Miami, and Indy, top 3. Indy is still here, surprisingly to me. They put on, I think, one good performance against a team that was supposed to put up more numbers on them, which is the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
So that's why they're still around here. But they have Houston twice. They have us, and I forgot who they have week 16. Their next good game is week 17, but you can't start in week 17, I guess, unless you got a league that plays up until that week. Yeah, Pittsburgh is, they've been the same all season. They just dominated the freaking Ravens today. Against poor RG3 over there. In Miami, they did a great job in free agency putting together all the pieces and getting the people they need, and they've been playing great defense, like Mariano has stated earlier.
Robert Griffin III.
Yes, sir. And then that's it. That's all I got. You got any last notes, Mariano?
No, that's it.
No secret tidbits for them going into playoffs? No, nothing? Mm-hmm. Now you want to give them all the juice?
Nope.
All right, so that concludes the quarter 3 analysis, and that concludes, this is episode 14, right, Mariano?
14.
That's all we got for this week, you guys. Hopefully, you liked all the analysis and stuff and the startup sit-em.
That's
helps
right.
you out this week. This is week 13, so that means a lot of your playoff starts next week. So some of you are playing to get in. Some of you, there's no hope. So I don't know why you're watching this.
Right.
But hopefully, we got some key matchups here that'll help you, get into the playoffs. Good luck this week.
Good luck.
And that's it, man. That's all I got. You got any last words, Mariano?
No, that's it. Till next time, man.
Fantasy Experts, we're out, man.